I am hated by every employer across America. That's why I do videos on the internet for a living. Because it is impossible for anyone to justify firing me. I am an incredibly hard worker, but I also have no filter. I believe in returning the energy that is given to me. If a customer acts stupid, I'm going to call them out on their stupid shit. I remember when I was working in the restaurant, I told the story a few videos ago. I was working in the restaurant and I went up, we were called, I'm not going to give you the name, but we were basically known for our ribs. We were a barbecue place and we were named after ribs. We'll call it the Rib Place, right? So we were called the Rib Place and this guy comes up to the restaurant at like 20 minutes before closing. And he's like, I would like to order some ribs. And I was like, sorry, man, we're actually out of ribs. We ran out like an hour ago. How is a place called the Rib Place run out of ribs? I was like, well, it's a Saturday night and they had a concert in town. So there was a huge dinner rush. And so all the ribs got ordered. But I don't understand. You're the Rib Place. I was like, brother, we still have to cook them. Do you think that there's a little pocket dimension back there? We reach into a portal into the rib dimension and pull out freshly cooked ribs? That's not how reality works. He didn't tip me. In any case, that's the kind of person I am. I work really, really hard. I'm always being looked at for things like promotions and shit, but I get a lot of customer complaints because I don't know how to just let things be sometimes. And so like I have like a very like small amount of patience, like a very small amount of patience. But anyway, so I've never really been fired from a job except for one. I got fired from one job when I was 15 before I had a big work ethic. I was a busboy at CC's Pizza. And I worked the Saturday, I worked 1 day a week for 2 hours. And sometimes I didn't even want to do that. So I would come up with excuses. My dog got sick, mom got sick, my bike broke down, my penis is red and purple, you know, just random shit. And eventually the guy was like, yeah, he's not coming back here. And they fired me. But outside of that, I've quit every single job I've ever worked in my entire life. So I'm looking for a job shortly after my divorce. This was before I became a casino dealer, but it was after my divorce. So it was in this really weird, awkward period. And I find an advertisement for tech support. And I was like, oh, I can do that. I know about computers. So I called them up and they said, yeah, we got this stuff open. Turns out it was call center work. Now, I've worked call centers before, and one day I'll do a video about my time in call centers, but I did not want to go back to call center work, but I was homeless. I desperately needed a job. I said, I will go over here and I will do this job until I can find something else. So I get the job and I get in. And you remember when I was telling the story about the restaurant and red flags at a job? Here's some red flags. We're all like family here. That means they're about to treat you like absolute shit. Oh, well, if you ever need anything, just go to HR. That means they're about to hide every bad thing this company does and fire your ass. I went through all of them. We're like family, just come to HR, open office policy, all the little nidbits and tiggles and all that other dumb shit that they try to tell you whenever you get to a job so you don't immediately stand up and walk the fuck out when they're honest with you, right? So, one of the red flags is that the person who was doing the training for the tech support thing couldn't fucking spell. They could not spell. Every single word they typed up was an abomination. Now look, I'm not the best speller ever. I have something called dysgraphia. It means that whenever I'm trying to, there's something from my brain to my hands that doesn't translate well. It's a different form of dyslexia. Dyslexia, it makes it hard for your brain and your eyes to communicate. Dysgraphia, it makes it hard for your brain and your hands to communicate. So I get misspelling some things, but when you spell the word there as THAREE, there might be something wrong. And this wasn't like a 9-year-old. This was a 50-year-old woman misspelling the simplest shit. But whatever, I sat through it. Then we get to the point where they tell us what the policies are. Now, I will tell you, I will admit to you, that call center work is fucking stupid. They have a lot of different policies that are, at the end of the day, said that they are to protect customers. But realistically speaking, these policies are all there to make your life as an employee more miserable. So the no phone policy, I kind of get, because they don't want you texting on your phone and ignoring calls. But then they said that you couldn't have a pencil and paper. And I said, okay, why? And they said, well, it's because you can write down people's social security number. And I said, what? They said, yeah, you could be writing down people's social security number. And I said, okay, but what if someone sneaks a pen in and then writes it on their pants? Are pants banned? And they go, no. I was like, okay, are your ID badges banned? You can write it on the back of your ID. And they go, no. I was like, okay, do you have cameras pointing at the desks? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, then why do you fucking need to ban pencil and paper? What ended up making me quit was after questioning everything. So like, I wasn't like, yeah, I'm just not going to work this job because these policies are stupid. I was just like, I was questioning them because they didn't make any sense to me. I get dragged to HR at the end of the day, and the HR lady had the attitude of a fucking 5-year-old. This bitch looks me dead in the eye, and she goes, questioning things around here isn't going to help you move up in the company. I said, oh, so you guys are that kind of company. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, when policies are stupid or things don't make sense, people tend to question them. But you don't want people to question them. You want robots. You want pre-programmed AI. You want people who are going to do what you say no matter what you say. And she goes, well, it sounds bad when you put it like that. I said, but that's what it is, right? That's what it is. You want people who aren't human beings. And I said, that's not really fair. That's not a good company. And I said, I looked at your turnover rate and it's 62%. 62%. Do you know how high that is? That means 62% of people who go to work for this company end up leaving this company. Not getting fired, they end up quitting. 62% of people. She looks at me and she goes, well, that's not our fault. You're just being ridiculous. And I was like, okay, thank you. I'm done here. And she goes, so you're quitting? And I was like, yeah. So I got up and I go to leave and she's following me. She's right? She's following me like this. She goes, drop your badge off. I was like, I'm getting my phone real quick. You don't have privilege to your phone. I was like, fuck you. So I got my phone out of the locker and I go give my badge to the security desk person who's looking very bored. And then as I'm walking outside, she follows me and I'm starting to walk and she goes, that's why your ass is unemployed.